Walker, Texas Ranger, 1993 to 2001, was a thrilling and action-packed series that captivated audiences with its blend of martial arts, tough justice, and unforgettable characters. The show became a 90s television icon, with its stars becoming household names. Sadly, over the years, 39 of the talented actors from the series have tragically passed away. In this video, we pay tribute to these actors, reflecting on their impactful performances, the legacies they left behind, and the roles that made them legends in the world of television. Join us as we remember the beloved faces of Walker, Texas Ranger, and celebrate their lasting contributions to the show and the industry. Clarence Gilliard Jr., who portrayed the intelligent and loyal James Trevette beginning in 1993, brought a steady presence to Walker, Texas Ranger. His role made him a household name, but behind the success, his personal life unraveled in silence. He endured 2 painful divorces and struggled to maintain a bond with his 6 children amid long stretches of absence due to work. His second marriage, to Elena, was marked by quiet tension and emotional distance, worsened by his deteriorating health. Though admired for his professionalism, Gilliard withdrew from public life in his final years as he battled a prolonged illness. He lived in a modest but elegant Las Vegas home filled with books, personal mementos, and a prized collection of motorcycles. His estimated $5 million estate included residuals from acting, teaching positions, and publishing income. His assets were left to his family, though internal conflicts reportedly arose regarding the division of property. Clarence Gilliard Jr. died on November 28, 2022, at the age of 66 due to complications from a long illness. Woody Watson, who played Comdell in Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1993, was a quiet but enduring presence on screen, though behind the scenes, his personal life was turbulent. Known for his rugged, understated performances, Watson struggled to find steady work outside of the series. He was married twice. His first marriage ended in divorce due to his drinking problem, and the second collapsed after the couple lost their teenage daughter, Rachel, in a tragic car accident. The grief from this loss drove a wedge into their relationship, and Watson lived alone for the last 2 decades of his life. He became reclusive, rarely appearing at public events, and was rumored to have struggled with depression. His only solace came from restoring old Western memorabilia and riding his aging horse on his small property outside Dallas. His estate included a modest ranch-style home, a vintage Ford pickup, and an extensive but weather-worn collection of Western props, together valued around $600,000. He died from natural causes on January 27, 1999, at the age of 50. Floyd "Red Crow" Westerman began portraying Uncle Ray, Walker's wise and deeply spiritual Native American uncle, in 1993. The role allowed him to spotlight indigenous perspectives rarely seen in mainstream media, though his own life was marked by profound hardship. A widower who never remarried, Westerman raised 2 children alone while balancing a demanding career as a musician and activist. He faced discrimination and financial strain during much of his life, often sacrificing career opportunities to remain true to his beliefs. Though admired by peers, his commitment to advocacy made it difficult to find long-term stability in Hollywood. He lived in a modest Los Angeles home decorated with tribal art and musical instruments. His estate, worth around $1 million, included songwriting royalties, film earnings, and cultural artifacts, much of which was donated to educational foundations. Floyd Westerman died from leukemia complications on December 13, 2007, at the age of 71. Ned Romero played Judge Henry 5 Kills on Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1998, a role that resonated deeply with his native heritage and sense of justice. Romero's career spanned decades, often limited to supporting roles that rarely did justice to his talent. He faced typecasting throughout his life, which wore down his spirit, especially after the tragic death of his young daughter from leukemia. Married for over 30 years to a screenwriter who supported his battles in Hollywood, Romero also bore the pain of being rejected by some of his own community for accepting stereotypical roles in earlier films. The character of 5 Kills, though minor, was one of the few he felt truly represented his values. Off-screen, Romero was known for his woodworking and spiritual practices. His estate in Los Angeles included a hillside house adorned with native carvings, a classic convertible, and rare film memorabilia, valued at $1 million. He passed away on November 4, 2017, at age 90 from natural causes, leaving his legacy to his remaining daughter and a small but loyal circle of friends and protégés. Lou Hancock portrayed Mabel Shoop on Walker, Texas Ranger beginning in 1993. Though her appearances were brief, she brought warmth and familiarity to the screen. Off-screen, Hancock's life was shaped by loneliness and a series of emotional hardships. Never married and childless, she cared for her mentally ill brother for many years, sacrificing career opportunities and personal relationships. In her final years, she lived alone in a small Los Angeles house filled with books, records, and boxes of old theater programs. Her income dwindled after her acting roles stopped, and she quietly battled cancer with little support. Her estate, estimated at just $500,000, consisted mainly of her home and residuals from past film work. With no immediate family, her belongings were passed to a niece, who later auctioned off some memorabilia to pay outstanding medical debts. Lou Hancock died on December 1, 1995, at the age of 71 from cancer. Noble Willingham played C.D. Parker, a former Texas Ranger and the folksy bar owner, starting in 1993. The role gave new life to his career, but it did little to mend the fractures in his personal world. He had been married but separated quietly, living the remainder of his life alone, rarely speaking of his family. Though he had 3 children, his political activism and solitary lifestyle created distance between them. Willingham was deeply nostalgic in his later years, often reflecting on lost connections and unrealized artistic ambitions. He owned a beautiful mid-century home in Palm Springs and several vintage American cars, with his estate valued at approximately $3 million. Most of his wealth was passed to his children, though much of his personal collection was donated to charitable causes he supported in his final years. He spent his last days in quiet seclusion before passing away of natural causes on January 17, 2004, at the age of 72. Robert Wall appeared on Walker, Texas Ranger as Billy in 1994, bringing his real-life martial arts mastery to the screen. Known for his close association with Bruce Lee, Wall's Hollywood journey was filled with respect but limited stardom. Behind his calm public demeanor, Wall suffered personal grief when one of his 2 children died in a tragic motorcycle accident, a trauma that haunted him for decades. Though married, his obsessive dedication to martial arts and film stunts strained his relationship, leading to long separations from his wife. He remained active in martial arts education until his final years. Wall's estate, valued at about $2 million, included a training facility, rare martial arts memorabilia, and a cozy Los Angeles home filled with trophies and photos from his time in Hollywood. His remaining family now runs a foundation in his honor. Robert Wall passed away on January 30, 2022, at the age of 82 due to natural causes. Elio Casados, remembered for his role as Sheriff Sam Coyote from 1996 in Walker, Texas Ranger, stood out for his calm authority and cultural pride. Though he gained some recognition for his respectful portrayal of Native American characters, his career remained largely in the background of Hollywood. In real life, Casados carried deep emotional scars. He lost his father to suicide when he was just 12 and later dealt with the trauma of his son Julian's drug addiction and incarceration. Casados had a brief marriage to actress Lorna Lynn, but they separated quietly after their son was arrested for theft. Despite these struggles, Casados poured his soul into his acting and activism for indigenous rights. The role of Sam Coyote became his most recognized work, and although he hoped it would open more doors, the industry often relegated him to stereotypical roles. His estate at the time of death included a small Los Angeles bungalow filled with tribal artifacts, a used Jeep Cherokee, and personal artwork, estimated at $700,000. He passed away from cancer on April 19, 2016, at age 66. Marla Adams appeared as Betsy Harper in Walker, Texas Ranger in 2000, a late career role that brought her brief attention but little joy. Though she enjoyed playing the sharp-tongued Betsy, the job couldn't repair the damage of her personal life. Adams had married once, to a TV executive, but the union ended bitterly in divorce after just 5 years. She had one daughter, Heather, whom she raised largely alone, but their relationship became strained when Heather moved abroad and cut off communication for decades. Adams lived in a modest Los Angeles home where loneliness grew, exacerbated by her battle with early dementia. A tragic fire in the 1990s destroyed most of her personal mementos, deepening her emotional withdrawal. Her $1 million estate consisted mainly of her home, a small hybrid car, and costume jewelry with sentimental rather than material value. The estate was left to her daughter, despite their distance. Adams died of natural causes on April 25, 2024, at the age of 85. Carmen Argenziano, who played George Vickers on Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1994, had a career that spanned multiple decades, but his personal life was marked by struggles that took a toll on him. While his character in the series was tough and respected, Argenziano faced difficulties maintaining a balanced family life. His marriage ended in divorce, and he often struggled to maintain close relationships with his children. His career brought some success, but the emotional and physical toll of his personal life was undeniable. His estate, valued at approximately $1 million, included a home in Los Angeles and personal belongings that he left behind for his family. Despite his fame, Argenziano's later years were overshadowed by health issues and emotional battles. He passed away on February 10, 2019, at the age of 75, due to natural causes. His legacy was ultimately carried forward by his family, though his life was marked by a series of personal challenges that impacted his well-being. Dennis Letts, who appeared as Fred Garrett in Walker, Texas Ranger beginning in 1994, was more than an actor. He was a professor, playwright, and father of Pulitzer-winning writer Tracy Letts. While his role on the show was brief, it marked a late-life turn to acting after decades in education. Yet beneath the gentle exterior was a life marked by silent suffering. He endured a difficult marriage that survived infidelity and the emotional fallout from the death of his first daughter due to a brain aneurysm. He turned to poetry and playwriting to deal with his grief, and his family life, though outwardly strong, was shaken by private struggles. Letts had 3 sons, with whom he had complex relationships. He was proud of Tracy's success but often felt overshadowed. His estate, including a quaint Dallas home, an aging Honda, and a massive personal library of rare books and unpublished plays, was valued at $500,000. He died of cancer on February 22, 2008, at age 73, surrounded by family who had come together during his final months, despite years of emotional distance. Rod Taylor, who portrayed attorney Gordon Cahill beginning in 1996 on Walker, Texas Ranger, had already enjoyed a storied film career before his stint on television. Best known for his work in classic cinema, Taylor's transition to television was both an attempt at revival and a reluctant acceptance of fading fame. His personal life, however, was far more volatile. He was married 3 times, with all unions ending in either divorce or scandal. His last marriage collapsed under accusations of emotional abuse, and his only daughter Felicia became estranged, blaming him for years of neglect and egotism. Taylor's relationship with Walker was bittersweet. While it brought him back into the public eye, he often lamented being seen only as a relic. Despite this, he maintained a lavish lifestyle. His Beverly Hills estate, complete with a wine cellar, rare art collection, and 4 classic cars, was valued at $5 million. In his final years, he lived alone, cared for by hired staff. Rod Taylor died of a heart attack on January 7, 2015, at the age of 84. Michael Parks appeared as Caleb Hooks in Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1996, a gritty role that suited his quiet intensity. Despite his rugged image, Parks lived a life marked by estrangement and regret. Married twice, both unions ended amid allegations of emotional abuse and infidelity. He had 1 son, James, with whom he had a complicated relationship, speaking only sporadically. In the 1970s, Parks' career nosedived after a public falling out with studio executives, leading to years of obscurity and financial instability. He found modest revival through guest roles, but the bitterness lingered. His Los Angeles home, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood, was filled with old guitars and dusty film reels, a reminder of a talent often sidelined. His $2 million estate included the house, a collection of vintage motorcycles, and royalties from past work, now divided among distant relatives. Parks died of natural causes on May 9, 2017, at the age of 77. James Drury, who portrayed Captain Tom Price starting in 1993, brought a dignified and authoritative presence to Walker, Texas Ranger, a role that reignited interest in his long career after years of waning recognition. Though respected on-screen, his private life was far more turbulent. Drury was married 3 times, each ending in heartbreak, with infidelity and financial tension playing a role in the breakdowns. He had 2 sons, Timothy and James Jr., but both relationships were strained. His eldest battled addiction and lived estranged for years. Despite public admiration, Drury struggled with isolation in his later life, spending most days alone in his large Houston home. The passing of his 3rd wife left him emotionally shattered, leading to long bouts of depression. His $2 million estate included a classic Cadillac, a ranch-style house filled with memorabilia, and several antique firearms. While the home was maintained, much of his personal collection has remained untouched, locked away as a private memorial. Drury died of natural causes on April 6, 2020, at the age of 85. August Shelonberg, who played Billy Grey Wolf beginning in 1994, brought wisdom and authenticity to the role, drawing on his own indigenous heritage. Yet, the strength he showed on screen masked deep personal wounds. His marriage, though long-standing, was often fractured by cultural pressures and a demanding career that kept him away from home. He had 3 children, one of whom, Paul, battled substance abuse and legal troubles for years, casting a shadow over the family. In the 1980s, a serious car accident left Shelonberg with chronic pain, an injury he concealed while continuing to work. His Dallas home was a sanctuary where he painted and wrote poetry, rarely shared with the public. Valued at $1 million, his estate included the house, a small art collection, and an old pickup truck he refused to part with. His children inherited his belongings, though disagreements over their division strained their already tense bonds. Shelonberg died of cancer on August 15, 2013, at the age of 77. Brian James, who took on the role of Rayford Cobb in 1997, was known for his menacing characters, but few knew the real-life pain behind the hardened persona. James was never married, often claiming that his unpredictable moods and heavy drinking made him unfit for anyone. He fathered a child from a brief relationship in the 1980s, but denied paternity until a DNA test forced him to acknowledge the boy. Their relationship remained icy. In 1991, James suffered a nervous breakdown on set, which led to a brief hospitalization, an episode he kept secret. Though he owned a scenic home in Malibu valued at $1 million, he often lived in hotels while filming, disconnected from any roots. The estate included a vintage convertible and rare movie memorabilia, much of which was auctioned posthumously. A legal dispute between his child and distant cousins over the estate dragged on for years. James died of a heart attack on August 7, 1999, at the age of 54. Steve Rivas portrayed Jake Stone Crow in Walker, Texas Ranger beginning in 1997, a role that offered rare indigenous representation on primetime television. Off-screen, Rivas faced a life marked by hardship and emotional distance. He grew up on the Blackfeet Reservation in Montana, where he endured poverty and the early loss of 2 siblings in a tragic fire. Though he married casting director Marcel Rivas, their union was strained by his frequent absences and emotional withdrawal, leaving their 3 children, Joseph, Kayla, and Marcus, feeling disconnected. Rivas found brief stability in Montana, where he owned a small ranch-style home and an old pickup truck he cherished. His career never fully flourished after Walker, and he turned to alcohol to cope with the isolation. His estate, modest at around $500,000, consisted mostly of the house, personal memorabilia, and a small insurance policy. He died on December 7, 2017, at the age of 55 due to complications from diabetes. Gwen Verdon, known for her role as Maisie Whitman on Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1997, had a distinguished career in theater and television, but her personal life was filled with emotional turbulence. Her marriage to renowned choreographer Bob Fosse was famously tumultuous, filled with both passion and pain, leading to a painful divorce. Though their connection was intense, the divorce caused a lasting strain on her emotional health. Verdon's love life remained difficult after that, and her relationship with her children was often strained due to her work commitments and personal struggles. Her estate, valued at approximately $2 million, included a Los Angeles home and various personal belongings. Despite her professional success, Verdon's personal life was marked by heartache, and she passed away on October 18, 2000, at the age of 75, due to natural causes. She left behind a legacy of impressive work, but her emotional challenges made her later years difficult. Bert Young, who joined Walker, Texas Ranger in 1996 as Jack Soldier Belmont, was best known for his powerful, often gritty portrayals in both film and television. His career was successful, but his personal life was plagued by difficulties. He was married, but his relationship ended in divorce, and he struggled with maintaining relationships due to the demands of his career. His children were part of his life, but his strained relationship with them left him feeling disconnected at times. Young's emotional battles, combined with health issues, made his later years difficult. His estate, valued at $2 million, included a Los Angeles home and various personal belongings, all of which were left to his family. He passed away on October 8, 2023, at the age of 83, due to natural causes. Despite the success of his acting career, his personal life was often marked by sadness, and his death marked the end of a chapter filled with both triumphs and emotional struggles. Robert Forster, who portrayed Lane Tillman on Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1995, had a long and varied career, but his personal life was marred by significant turmoil. He was married twice, but both relationships ended in divorce, which left a lasting emotional scar on him. His struggles with maintaining a connection to his children were well documented, and his family relationships were often strained due to his dedication to his career. Despite the emotional toll, Forster remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, and his role on Walker added to his well-respected career. His estate, estimated at $3 million, included a home in Los Angeles and a collection of personal items that were passed on to his family. Sadly, Forster passed away on October 11, 2019, at the age of 78, after battling brain cancer. His death left his family to inherit his estate, and while his professional achievements were celebrated, his personal life was marked by hardships and struggles. John Fujioka, who played Master Rin from 1996, brought gravitas and wisdom to his role, but his real life was steeped in silence and solitude. A widower for over 2 decades, Fujioka lost his wife, Naomi, in a car accident in the 1970s, an event that left him emotionally shattered. Though he fathered a daughter, Emmy, their relationship grew strained as his grief rendered him emotionally unavailable. Despite a successful career, Fujioka often felt typecast and overlooked, particularly in his later years. He lived alone in a modest Los Angeles home and drove a 1990s sedan that he refused to replace. His $800,000 estate consisted of his house, rare samurai artifacts, and a modest retirement fund, left entirely to his estranged daughter. Fujioka passed away on December 13, 2018, at the age of 93 due to natural causes, having spent his final years in quiet reflection, largely forgotten by Hollywood. Gino Silva, who played El Coyote on Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1996, had a significant impact on the show with his memorable performances. However, his personal life was far from perfect. Silva's marriage was troubled, and his relationship with his children was strained, partly due to the demanding nature of his career. In his later years, Silva struggled with dementia, which made it difficult for him to manage his health and relationships. Despite his role as a menacing figure on Walker, Silva's personal life was marked by sadness and isolation. His estate, valued at approximately $1 million, included a home in Los Angeles and personal belongings that were passed to his family. Silva passed away on May 9, 2020, at the age of 72, due to complications from dementia. His death left his family to inherit his estate, but the personal difficulties he faced during his later years overshadowed his on-screen success, leaving behind a bittersweet legacy. Jeep Swenson played the brutish Jumbo Stark in Walker, Texas Ranger beginning in 1993, a role that matched his imposing physique but belied his inner vulnerability. Known as a gentle giant to friends, Swenson lived with constant pressure to maintain his bodybuilder image, which took a dangerous toll on his health. He married model Erin Maldonado, but their relationship grew volatile amid financial strain and his growing steroid dependence. They had one daughter, Amanda, who would later speak of the emotional chaos in their home. Swenson owned a stylish home in Los Angeles and several luxury cars, including a red Corvette he rarely drove. His estate, estimated at $500,000, was reduced by medical bills and legal disputes, leaving modest assets for his family. He died of heart failure on August 18, 1997, at just 40 years old, a tragic end to a life shaped by extremes and haunted by physical and emotional pain. Carrie Hamilton appeared as Mary Beth McCall in Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1995, where her emotionally rich performance hinted at a deeper pain behind the smile. The daughter of famed actress Carol Burnett, Hamilton struggled with the weight of legacy and addiction throughout her teens. Though she achieved sobriety by her early 20s, the damage lingered. She never married, though she had a long, rocky relationship with musician Brian Schmid, which ended bitterly when he refused to support her during her cancer battle. She had no children and often lamented her loneliness in personal journals. Her Los Angeles home, filled with musical instruments and handwritten lyrics, reflected her creative soul. Valued at $1 million, her estate passed to her mother and siblings. Hamilton died tragically young on January 20, 2002, at the age of 38 due to lung cancer that spread to her brain, ending a life that held great promise and quiet sorrow. Mako appeared as Dr. Henry Lee in Walker, Texas Ranger starting in 1997, delivering a nuanced performance shaped by decades of experience. Behind the scenes, Mako struggled with the dual identity of being an Asian actor in a still narrow Hollywood. His marriage to actress Shizuko Hoshi was long but endured periods of intense strain, particularly after the death of their son Kenji in a drowning accident. The loss drove a wedge between the couple, though they remained legally married. Mako buried himself in work, rarely taking time off and often using roles like Dr. Lee to express a quiet defiance. He lived in a traditional home in Los Angeles, filled with Japanese calligraphy and musical instruments, as he was also a skilled singer. His estate, worth about $1 million, was divided between his wife and surviving daughter, Mari. He died of esophageal cancer on July 21, 2006, at age 72, leaving behind a legacy of dignity amid personal heartbreak. Who was your favorite member of the Walker, Texas Ranger cast? Let us know in the comments. Over the years, we've said goodbye to many beloved stars, but their incredible performances continue to live on in our hearts. Their impact on television and the memories they created will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on classic TV stars. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.